The world learned of United States military strikes in Yemen shortly before 2 p.m. Eastern Time on March 15th. However, information suggesting imminent strikes reached a journalist approximately 2 hours prior to this public confirmation. This advanced knowledge stemmed from an extraordinary source. The Secretary of Defense purportedly texted war plans directly to this journalist at 11:44 a.m. that same day. These plans, delivered via text message, included specific details regarding weapons systems, targeted locations, and the precise timing of the impending operation. This situation immediately strains credulity. It is a circumstance that demands explanation. This speech will dissect this unprecedented event, examining its operational context and assessing the profound strategic ramifications stemming from a journalist's accidental inclusion in what appears to be a principles-level discussion of imminent military action. This sequence of events began with a seemingly innocuous connection request. A journalist received an invitation via Signal from an account identified as Michael Waltz. This request, while not entirely unexpected given professional interactions, occurred within the context of a Trump administration known for its adversarial stance toward many media outlets. Consequently, initial interpretations leaned toward potential deception or an elaborate setup. Despite this suspicion, the connection was accepted. This acceptance led directly to the journalist's inclusion in a signal group designated Houthi PC Small Group. The stated purpose of this group, as conveyed by the Michael Waltz account, was to establish a principals committee for coordinating actions related to the Houthis. The very notion of a principals committee, comprising the highest echelons of national security leadership, operating on a commercial messaging application, immediately raised profound questions regarding protocol and security. The subsequent exchanges within this digital forum further amplified these concerns, yet simultaneously introduced an unsettling degree of realism. Participants, identified by names corresponding to senior officials such as Marco Antonio Rubio, J.D. Vance, and Pete Hegseth, engaged in discussions that mirrored publicly known policy positions and communication styles associated with these individuals. These exchanges ranged from broad strategic considerations regarding the Houthi situation to specific economic ramifications and messaging strategies intended for public consumption. While the unorthodoxy of the platform remained a significant anomaly, the content itself began to exhibit characteristics that were difficult to dismiss as mere fabrication. Then the tenor of the conversation shifted from policy deliberation to operational planning. A message originating from the Pete Hegseth account introduced a critical escalation. This message, titled Team Update, contained explicit operational details concerning imminent military strikes in Yemen. It specified targets, identified weapon systems slated for deployment, and most significantly, outlined a precise attack timeline. This inclusion of concrete, time-sensitive operational information marked a decisive turning point. It transformed the situation from a perplexing anomaly into a potential operational security breach of extraordinary magnitude. The dissemination of such sensitive data, especially through an unsecure channel and to an unauthorized individual, presented immediate and severe risks. The timeline provided in the team update became the crucial test. The message indicated strikes would commence at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Independent news sources shortly thereafter reported explosions in Sana'a, Yemen, aligning almost precisely with the predicted time. This external confirmation dramatically altered the assessment of the signal group's authenticity. The synchronicity between the leaked operational details and real-world events provided compelling, albeit alarming, validation. Following the strikes, reactions within the signal group further solidified this conclusion. Congratulatory messages and assessments of operational success circulated amongst the participants, mirroring expected responses within a command structure following a military operation. Faced with this undeniable convergence of leaked information and observable reality, the journalist exited the signal group. This departure, in turn, prompted official acknowledgement. A spokesperson for the National Security Council confirmed the authenticity of the signal group. The explanation offered attributed the journalist's inclusion to the accidental addition of an inadvertent number. Regardless of intent, this admission underscored a significant lapse in operational security. Legal experts swiftly pointed out the potential legal ramifications. The use of Signal for discussing military operations, particularly those involving active engagements, could constitute violations of the Espionage Act. This act governs the handling of national defense information, and Signal, as a commercial application, lacks the security protocols mandated for such sensitive communications. Furthermore, the ephemeral nature of Signal messages, with their capacity for automatic deletion, raised concerns regarding compliance with federal records laws. These laws require the preservation of official government communications, a requirement potentially undermined by the disappearing message function. The accidental inclusion of an unauthorized individual, coupled with the use of an unsecure platform, and the discussion of operational details collectively constitute a serious security breach. This incident exposes a potential systemic weakness within the operational security practices of the national security apparatus. Beyond the immediate legal and security violations, this event carries profound strategic implications. The reliance on unsecure communication channels for sensitive operational matters creates vulnerabilities exploitable by adversaries. Accidental inclusion, even if attributed to error, highlights a lack of rigor in communication protocols. Such breaches erode trust in the professionalism and competence of national security leadership, both domestically and internationally. Moreover, this incident potentially weakens deterrence. It signals a deficiency in operational discipline, suggesting a casualness in handling highly sensitive information. This accidental text message, therefore, transcends a mere technical error. It represents a demonstrable failure in operational security, exposing systemic vulnerabilities with potentially far-reaching strategic consequences for national security and international standing. Official statements attempted to minimize the incident, characterizing it as an inadvertent error without consequence. The National Security Council spokesperson asserted the Signal thread demonstrated deep and thoughtful policy coordination, and that the ongoing success of the Houthi operation demonstrates that there were no threats to troops or national security. This perspective, however, stands in stark contrast to the assessment of legal and security professionals. These experts highlight the potential violations of established legal frameworks and security protocols. While the official narrative emphasizes seamless coordination and operational success, it notably downplays the inherent risks associated with the chosen communication method. Conversely, legal analysts point to the Espionage Act and its applicability to the handling of national defense information. They argue that Signal, lacking government authorization for classified communications, becomes a problematic platform for discussing active military operations. This contrasts sharply with mandated procedures requiring secure environments like SCIFs and approved government systems for such sensitive exchanges. The assertion of no threat to national security also clashes with the fundamental principles of operational security. The accidental inclusion of an unauthorized individual, regardless of intent, inherently constitutes a security breach. This breach is further compounded by the use of a commercial application vulnerable to exploitation, contrasting with the presumed rigor of secure government communication channels. Furthermore, the practice of setting messages to automatically disappear within the Signal group presents a direct contradiction to federal records laws. These laws mandate the preservation of official government communications, a requirement seemingly undermined by ephemeral messaging. This legal obligation stands in opposition to the transient nature of the Signal communication, raising questions about adherence to established record-keeping standards. Even the administration's past rhetoric presents a stark contrast. The previous condemnation of private email servers for official business, citing national security concerns, now appears incongruous with the use of an unsecure commercial messaging application for war planning. This historical context underscores the apparent double standard in the handling of sensitive information. Thus, two distinct narratives emerge. One narrative presented officially minimizes the event as a minor, inconsequential error. The contrasting narrative, grounded in legal and security expertise, reveals a significant breach of protocol with potential legal and strategic ramifications. This divergence in interpretation highlights a fundamental disconnect between the official downplaying of the incident and the demonstrable vulnerabilities it exposed within the national security apparatus. To fully comprehend the gravity of this incident, a deeper examination beyond immediate legal and security breaches is necessary. The question arises, is this merely an isolated error attributable to human fallibility, or does it signify a more systemic issue within the operational culture of national security leadership? A superficial assessment might dismiss the event as an unfortunate accident, a momentary lapse in judgment. However, such a perspective fails to account for the confluence of improbable factors that converged to create this breach. The use of an unsecure commercial platform for principals-level discussions, the inclusion of an unauthorized individual, and the sharing of explicit operational details are not easily reconciled as isolated missteps. Instead, these elements suggest a potential pattern of informality or even a degree of disregard for established protocols at the highest levels of national security decision-making. This incident could reflect a broader trend towards reliance on convenience over security, a prioritization of expediency that potentially undermines fundamental operational safeguards. It raises concerns about the prevailing culture within national security circles, specifically regarding adherence to communication security guidelines. Has complacency eroded the rigor expected in handling sensitive information? Has the ease of digital communication fostered a casualness that compromises operational discipline? Furthermore, this event underscores the persistent challenges of information security in the digital age. Despite advancements in secure communication technologies, human factors remain a critical vulnerability. No system, however sophisticated, can fully mitigate the risks posed by human error or procedural lapses. This incident serves as a stark reminder that robust security protocols are only as effective as their consistent and rigorous implementation. It highlights the ongoing need for vigilance, training, and a deeply ingrained culture of security consciousness at every level of national security operations. The accidental text message, therefore, is not simply a technical glitch or a minor procedural infraction. It is a symptom. It is a symptom potentially indicative of deeper systemic vulnerabilities within the national security apparatus, vulnerabilities that demand thorough scrutiny and decisive corrective action to prevent future, potentially more damaging, breaches. The ramifications of this incident extend far beyond domestic legal and security concerns, impacting the broader strategic landscape. This breach, seemingly minor in its origin, carries the potential to erode international trust in the United States national security apparatus. The perception of operational competence and communication security is a critical component of deterrence. If allies and adversaries alike perceive a lack of discipline in handling sensitive information at the highest levels of U.S. government, it can undermine the credibility of U.S. commitments and strategic signaling. The accidental exposure of war plans, however unintentional, can be interpreted as a sign of systemic weakness, potentially emboldening adversaries to test U.S. resolve or exploit perceived vulnerabilities. Furthermore, this incident provides a potential intelligence windfall for foreign actors. The very fact that principals-level discussions, including operational details of military actions, occurred on an unsecure commercial platform represents a significant intelligence opportunity. Adversarial intelligence services will undoubtedly seek to exploit this vulnerability, attempting to penetrate similar communication channels or identify other lapses in operational security. The long-term consequences of this breach could include a chilling effect on interagency communication and information sharing within the U.S. national security establishment. If senior officials become hesitant to utilize digital communication tools for legitimate coordination due to security anxieties, operational efficiency and responsiveness could be negatively impacted. This incident may necessitate a comprehensive review and overhaul of communication security protocols across the national security domain, a potentially resource-intensive and disruptive undertaking. Ultimately, the accidental text message serves as a potent symbol. It symbolizes not just a technical error, but a potential vulnerability at the heart of national security decision-making. The broader implication is a call for heightened vigilance, reinforced protocols, and a renewed commitment to operational security discipline to safeguard national interests and maintain strategic credibility in an increasingly complex and contested global environment. The accidental transmission of war plans via text message transcends a singular error in judgment. It represents a confluence of failures, a breakdown in protocol, a potential erosion of security culture, and a demonstrable vulnerability within the highest echelons of national security communication. This incident, initially dismissed as inadvertent, has exposed systemic weaknesses with implications far exceeding the immediate security breach. The erosion of trust, the potential compromise of strategic signaling, and the intelligence opportunities afforded to adversaries are not easily quantifiable, yet their cumulative impact could be profound. Therefore, this event must serve as a catalyst not for superficial damage control, but for a fundamental reevaluation and rigorous rectification of operational security practices. The imperative is clear: to restore confidence in the integrity of national security communication, and to reaffirm, through demonstrable action, an unwavering commitment to the most stringent standards of operational discipline in an era where such lapses carry increasingly severe strategic consequences. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, and be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more geopolitical insights like this. I love hearing your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Share this video with anyone interested in deeper perspectives on current events. Until next time, stay informed and think critically. Thank you.